What does that say? Anyway. Hey guys, what's up? It's Lexi. I am so excited for today's video because when this topic first got popular, I was obsessed with it, and I know that a lot of you guys were too. Today's video, we're going to be talking about
the most haunted object on the planet, the Dybbuk box.
Well, kind of. Let me explain. Before we start, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. You could join our little spooky fam. We talk everything paranormal, everything supernatural, and everything spiritual. I will also be leaving my paranormal playlist up here and down below if you're interested. But let's just get into it. So in 2012, a movie by the name The Possession came out. It's a story about a little girl who finds this box at a garage sale and she becomes infatuated with it. Like, she can't stop thinking about it. She wants to bring it everywhere with her. And after a while, her demeanor and her entire personality starts to change. So her dad takes notice of this. Things escalate to the point where she has to be exorcised of this Dybbuk that is inside of her. So I watched this movie and I was hooked. Not only the plot and the storyline, but the acting, the cinematography, the folklore behind it. But the scariest part, in my opinion, was when those 5 little words popped up at the beginning of the video, based on a true story. So of course, knowing that, I had to start researching it and I needed to know where this story came from. So what is a Dybbuk box and where did it come from? This Dybbuk box is actually a mini wine cellar. It was built in the 1950s in New York, and the one we're talking about today is allegedly haunted by a Dybbuk. So what is a Dybbuk? In Jewish mythology, a Dybbuk is a malicious spirit, and it's believed to be the dislocated spirit and soul of a dead person. So where did this box even come from? So the story begins in 2001. A writer by the name of Kevin Manis is at a yard sale and he comes across this box. This woman is selling it. She says that her grandmother, Havilah, used to own it. The box has a rough history. The grandmother had escaped a Nazi concentration camp and owned the box ever since. She told him then and there that this box contains a Dybbuk. And she said specifically, my grandmother said that this should not be opened. He buys the box, he takes it home, and the first thing that he does is open it. Inside this box had a goblet, 2 locks of hair with string tied around it, 2 pennies from the 1920s, a dried rosebud, a cast iron candlestick holder, and the back of the box had a Jewish word carved into it. So he says that the box right away gives him an eerie, creepy feeling. It smells bad, it looks weird, and it was already giving him weird thoughts. So he thinks, you know what would be such a good idea? I'm gonna give this box to my mom for her birthday.
You are really dumb, for real.
So he gives his mother this box for her birthday. As she's looking at it, she starts to have a stroke. There is an episode of some paranormal show that shows the mom and Kevin talking about the experience. And she says that when she opened that box, something blew through her that she could only describe as evil. Everyone in the house starts having crazy dreams, and they have a certain dream about an old hag. They started to smell cat pee. They started noticing that as soon as they had the box, a bunch of accidents were happening all around them. Accidents, injuries. And Kevin even said that at one point his eyes bled because of the box. After 2 years, in 2003, Kevin finally says enough is enough. He puts the box up on auction on eBay. Eventually, a college student ends up buying it for $140. The student also ends up with a bunch of misfortune, a string of bad luck, injuries. He smells that cat urine, starts dreaming about the old hag. He even starts experiencing hair loss. So he finally sells it online as well. And that's when it falls into the hands of Jason Haxton. Jason is a 63-year-old man from Kirksville, Missouri, and he pays $280 for the box. He says that the first night that he touched the box, he felt a knife go into his gut. He too began having dreams of this old hag. He started getting really sick, and again, he had a string of bad luck. He sees a rabbi, and this rabbi instructs him to bury it somewhere. Don't destroy it, don't give it away, don't sell it. Bury it somewhere on your land in a military-grade box, somewhere where you know no one's gonna get a hold of it. So he does. It ends up buried for 5 years. So he's kind of the reason why this box went so viral. He made his own website called dybbukbox.com. He said that he had thousands of hits every day. He wrote a book about the entire experience, and he eventually ends up selling the rights to a big budget company, and they make that 2012 Possession movie. Shortly after this, in 2016, he visits Zak Bagans. And there is an episode of this when Jason brings the box to him. Zak is sitting with him, they kind of discuss everything, and they bring out Kevin Mannis as well. So Jason explains everything that's happened. He just wants to get rid of it. The Dybbuk box is now at Zak Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's still there to this day. And according to the website, it says shortly after the box arrived, mysterious protruding holes began to appear in the walls right around the encasing, as if something was trying to break free. And he also says that he believes the box was causing his production to fall apart. So in 2018, this is around 2.5 years of him owning the box, Zak decides he's gonna open it, and he's gonna open it on live TV. And there was a 4-hour broadcast on Halloween. It says that at first he felt so much evil from it that he decided against it, and then changed his mind and said, I'm gonna open it. He finally goes to remove the glass case, and he says that there is footage, or that they captured footage of a mist coming out of the box, which I didn't see. And then he says that something went through him. Quote, I wasn't attacked, I wasn't harmed, I felt the power of it, and to me, it felt good. He goes on to say, quote, it was a rush. I felt a warmth through my body, and I don't know if it was crossing over, but it was a feeling I felt in the demon house. In my opinion, he's insinuating it was a demon. Now we're gonna talk about Post Malone. I'm sure everyone saw this, but there is footage of Post Malone in a room with Zak Bagans. He's in the Dybbuk room. Zak takes the glass case off again, and he goes to touch it. And while Zak is touching the box, Post Malone comes over to him and is like, hey man, like, let's get out of here. There's no audio, but in my head, this is what he's saying. But he comes over, he touches him, and he's like, hey man, like, let's go. He tries to pull him out, and Zak doesn't want to leave. So after a few minutes of him trying to get him out, Post Malone grabs him and takes him out of the room, and they leave. Because Post touched Zak while Zak was touching the box, they say that that transferred the curse. This experience happens, and Post Malone goes through his own string of bad luck. His private plane was forced to make an emergency landing after the tires blew off. 3 armed guards targeted his home in the San Fernando Valley, and his Rolls Royce was involved in a serious car accident. So he went through a bunch of stuff, and notice how everything was in threes. So his private plane was forced to make an emergency landing. 3 armed robbers targeted his home, and then he was in an accident. That's 3 things. 3 armed robbers. What does that say? Anyway. So we're gonna go back and circle around to Kevin Mannis. So after over 2 decades of this virality, this Dybbuk box craze, people are so fearful of this Dybbuk box. People are flying from all over the world to Zak's museum to see this Dybbuk box. There's so much fear instilled into this box, right? So in 2021, Kevin Mannis drops a bomb on all of us, Zak included. He does a tell-all interview with Input magazine, and he tells them that the entire Dybbuk box story was fake. It was entirely fictional. He made it all up. And he admits that he came up with this elaborate story as a social experiment. He says, quote, "I am a creative writer. The Dybbuk box is a story I created, and the story did what it was intended to do when I posted it 20 years ago, which is to become an interactive horror story in real time." The entire article is amazing. I'm going to leave it down below. They do kind of go over the truth of other things. So the Dybbuk box doesn't make sense because Dybbuks are real. Dybbuk boxes are not. So that's something that he made up. Another thing is that he did find the box at a garage sale, but it was sold to him by an attorney. Kevin was the one that put all that weird stuff into it. He carved the Jewish word on the back of the box. One thing that they didn't really touch on that I was curious about, the mom. If you guys remember me saying, there's a few episodes of paranormal shows that the mom was included. She talks about the experience, and you can tell that she had genuine fear about the box. They do say that she did have a stroke, but not in the shop, not with the box, in the home. And Kevin does say that that was the only weird thing that happened while having possession of the box. In my opinion, I feel like that's what started it all. He's like, oh my god, she had a stroke, it has to be paranormal, has to be the box. That's so fucked. That is so fucked, because did the mom know? Was the mom in on it? Did she lie in those shows? And then not only that, in the episode where Jason is giving the box to Zak, Kevin is there, and he is also talking about his mom. He says that his mom had passed away, and that he knows 100% it had to do with the box, that the box killed her. Another thing that they had talked about in the article is that Jason Haxton, the one that owned the box the longest, he wrote a book about it. He was also in several appearances. He did a couple shows, and then he signed over the rights to make that movie. He made the most money off of this entire thing. So what does that tell you guys? Jason made the most money off of it. Did he know that this story was fake? Did he know that the box was fake? Did the college student know it was fake? And most importantly, did Zak know it was fake? I'm not going to go into Zak all that much. I was never a huge fan of Ghost Adventures, to be completely real. Being a paranormal girly myself, it was very fake to me, is all I can say. So I was never a fan of it, but now all these things are coming out about him and being a horrible boss, all of that. Let me know you guys' thoughts, but do you guys think that Zak knew that the box was fake? So we're going to talk about my thoughts on the situation. So you might be thinking, okay, it's fake, but all that stuff happened to Post Malone, and then a few other people had experience with it. I know that there's been some experiences when people visit the museum and are in the room. Whether something is haunted or cursed or has a Dybbuk inside of it, the energy that it carries is what makes it that way. Showing this thing and having it be in shows, books, paranormal shows, in a movie, having it displayed so millions of people that are traveling all across the world to come to this museum, they're seeing this thing and they're giving it their energy. They're putting this fear into this box. It's going to manifest something. Energy is real, and energy does not die. So if you have millions of people, myself included, putting all this energy into this box, into research, something is going to happen. So do I believe that this thing is real? Started off as a real thing? No. I believe that this thing was fake, and it started off as a story, and maybe he didn't think it would get that viral. Somebody else picked it up, it blew up, it did not start off real, and it became what it is. I could say so much more about this topic. I was so obsessed when this first got popular, but I am gonna stop here. I'm really excited to see what you guys think about this topic, what you guys think about Zak, because I know people are so divided on what they think about Zak. So I really want to know. But other than that, I hope you guys like this video, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.